Hey everybody, it's Mike here with some Excel tricks and going to teach you how to do a few different add functions. We're going to learn how to add, we're going to learn how, and three different ways to figure out what the best ways are. So here's some salary information we have for a random company, and we have all their information here. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to figure out what their total salary plus their bonuses. So they're basically the total income. So one way we can do it is we can do a function that just adds one plus the other. So we're going to type in equals, and then we're going to click on the salary, which is a D3, and then we're going to hit the plus symbol, and then we're going to add E3 because that's their bonus. So we're adding their salary plus their bonus to get to the total. And that will give us $55,000. Now the second way we can do this is we can use a sum function. So we type in equals SUM, and then you want to do an open parentheses, and then you want to just highlight the 50, and you want to hold the left mouse button down, and you want to highlight that bonus also so that both of these are glowing. And then you do a close parentheses, and that will finish your formula. And then you hit enter, and then you'll get the same $55,000. And we'll go through at the end of the video how and why you would use one versus the other. And then the last method we'll talk about is doing a sum function also, like we discussed before. So equals sum and then the open parentheses. And now instead of dragging like we did in the last method, in method number 2, we're going to select the first one and then do a comma, just type in a comma, and then select the 5,000 and close parentheses. All answers will get the same result. So one reason that you would use the first one would be if you were adding, multiple different things in the same worksheet. So if you wanted to add a few things here, and then you wanted to add something down here plus something down here, let's just for the sake of it. So you can do it that way. With this, in method number 2, with this sum, you could not skip over things. So you could do, I'm going to rewrite this sum real quick. So if we want to do a sum, let's just say we wanted, instead of summing across, I only have 2 numbers here. So let's say I wanted to sum down for a different purpose. So I can't, if I highlighted these right here, so I highlighted 5 here, I couldn't skip this $15,000 if I wanted to for whatever reason. It's automatically going to add everything inside of this range that's D3 to D7 up above. So that's just the difference between those two methods. So if you did want to use a sum function, you could use this third method. So I'm going to rewrite this again. Basically the same thing we have here. So just going to give you a different example. So last time we did this, comma, this. However, we could also continue to do commas, and we can do comma this, and now if we wanted to also sum a range within it, we just type in comma again. Comma just means, okay, that's just counting however many you're going to add. So you can see, you already have number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. So you can do pretty much as many as you want, I believe. And then you can also do a range. So if you want to left click and drag, and you can hold, and you'll see up in the formula bar, you see how there's no comma between this E5 and E9 because this is a given range now. So it's selective of everything in there. It's going to add all those, even though. So now your formula, and then you want to close parentheses at the end. Always close parentheses. If you don't, it will ask you, and it'll pop up with a message box saying, hey, you forgot a parentheses. Do you want to? Excel will put it in for you, so you really don't have to put it in, but it's good practice. So just as an FYI here. Okay, it must know me. It didn't put it in for me. or I put it in for me, it just didn't prompt me. So this is your formula. It looks kind of strange, but so you have individual values here that you're selecting, and then you also have a range here. So, you know, with the sum function, you can do all of them. And the difference is how you know is when you look in the middle of this. So you have E5 to E9. So you want to read this as E5 through E9, or like, you know, E5 to and including E9. So it's everything in between. So this is the three different methods that you can show have different additive functions: the sum function or the just plain addition. And one more, which we can talk about, is how to drag down. So if you don't want to copy this formula every single time and type it in all the way down here. And let me just go back quickly to our original formula. So we just have this, we have this, and we just have our basics. So this is where we at. This is where we are started, 55, 55, 55. So if you wanted to do this formula all the way down, you don't want to type in, you know, equals this plus this again. You know, one way you can do it is you can just hit Control C, which copies, and then you click everywhere you want. You left click and hold it down, and you can paste it there by hitting Control V, as in Victor. So Control C, like Charlie, will copy it. Control V, like Victor, will paste it. Another way you can do that, I'm just going to undo that really quick, is you can, once you don't even need to copy it. If you look really closely, you see this very bottom right of the cell. There's a little, see how the cursor changes right there? It changes from here to here. This is what you want. If your cursor's like this means you're going to move it. You're going to move and drag it. You don't want to do that. What you want to do is get your cursor on the very bottom right. There's nothing on the top left, there's nothing on the bottom left, nothing on the top right. Only on the bottom right this function is available. And what if you do is if you double click it, it will drag the same formula that you already have and drag it all the way down until it hits a space in the column to the left. So until there's a space here, that's where it stops. Because it's going to look at that and look at the reference to itself and say, hey, it's a blank here, so I'm done. That's the end of the list. So that's what we want to do. That's definitely the quickest way to do things, especially if you're going thousands of lines down. That's definitely what you want to do. And of course, you can do the same thing with these. Let's just drag, there we go. Or we can just hit right click here, copy on it. You can right click and hit paste. Right click and hit paste again, or you can hit paste it. There you go. All different ways to do the same type of thing. And now if we wanted to add going down, we have a sum going down and say, hey, now that we summed across, we want a sum going down. So let's just type in equals sum again. Or actually, better yet, we'll do it with the function that they call us the f of x function up here. So we're actually gonna use the formula wizard. So we hit this fx right here in the bar in the cell we wanted to use. And let's type in sum. Type in sum. There it is. It tells you, okay, the sum will add all numbers in a range of cells. That's what we want to do. So hit OK. It will automatically try and guess what you want to sum. And right now it's saying, hey, I want to sum D3 through D17. And it is right. Now let's just assume that this was not here, because this will not always be accurate. Because again, it's going to stop at if there's a space in between. But let's just do it ourselves just to get a good practice. So we hit this little icon right here, and we can just drag left click and hold the mouse button down, and that's what we want. Now, earlier they put it all the way down to here. It really won't matter if you have extra spaces. So let's just go through here. And then let's click this button again. And number 2, there is no number 2. We're already summing a range. You would use this number 2 or number 3 if you wanted to individually click on one of them. Like let's say I wanted to add this bonus also over here for some reason, and then I wanted number 3, you know, and then as you click on, they'll keep getting added and added. But we don't want to do that. We just want to sum straight down. So we only have this one group of numbers here. So the sum of this whole row here, or excuse me, this whole column is $410,000. And again, we can right-click and copy this, and we can right-click and paste this here. So then now, if you double-click in here, okay, this will show you. Okay, it's highlighted this whole range of cells. Therefore, that's what it's summing. So the formula's working right. We always want to double-check the formulas, and you can either hit F2, which will highlight everything. You're actually going into the formula to kind of edit it, or you can double-click. And now I know that the formula is working okay here and okay here. I can drag across. And this just means that you need to expand the rows, so just double-click in between these, or you can go like this. This is how it was, and you could just left-click in between these, change the column width. So these look good. So these are all 451. So remember, these all 3 of these were the same. They're different methods, but to arrive at the same answer. So you can use either one of these to get to the same answer. And then we can do the average now also. The average will be done in the next video.